So,
No? What do you
Yes,
see on
it
the
changed.
in the first slide?
Day
calculator
14,
motor.
case of
Okay, good. Good. It's changing also. And the okay. All right. Just continue writing your roll numbers. Do you want to know anything before we formally start the class?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, sure. Go ahead.
Sir, I want to understand the concept of retained earnings and
Okay.
accumulated depreciation.
Okay,
Depreciation.
good. Fine. I'll explain these. The word itself explains retained earnings. Earnings which have been retained. You all know the meaning of word retained. Something that you keep as a reserve, something that you keep with you. Say you have 10 rupees, 3 rupees you give to somebody, and 7 rupees you keep with you. So you can call it that 7 rupees you have retained with you, isn't it? Hmm? Dharma?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Apply the same concept to accounting and financial statements. Company
So how
earns
to
uh, company earns profit. Out of the profit, it earns part of it. It distributes to the shareholders in the form of dividend, and part of it retains for future growth or future investment, and it continues retaining that money every year, year after year. It retains some money if it is profitable for various purposes. It invests this money. At times it keeps it for some exigency, for some emergencies, and during the years when it has no profit or it has suffered losses, it can make use of that money. So there are, it can make use of the retained earning for various purposes. So the meaning of retained earning is that collectively all various forms of reserves and surpluses can be called as
retained
retained.
earnings?
Is the concept clear?
Yes, sir. But how do we treat it in accounts?
Okay. You want to know what is it in terms of asset, capital, liability, and expenses?
Yes, sir.
Is it that is what you want to know?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Can anyone answer this? How is it treated? What do you consider retained earning?
So we treat it as revenue.
You treat it as revenue, but revenue was when you earned.
Net capital. So it is a part of capital.
It is a part of capital. It will add to your capital. Okay. Then what is it in terms of accounting? Is it capital or liability? Capital. See, now let us talk about the
Capital.
okay. Let us talk about the concept of corporate business house. In corporate business house, in any company that you may think of, it makes profit, and the part of profit is retained. To those who are managing the company, on their part, it is liability towards shareholders, including they themselves. Say in Wipro, Azim Premji has retained something. So he owes this money to all the shareholders, including himself. He is also one of the shareholders. So it is a liability that they have to pay at a future date if the shareholders want it. You will learn more about it in the second term in financial management, but just a passing reference can be provided to you at this stage also. Company has made a profit of rupees 100. How much should it pay to shareholders? Entire 100 or 60 or 30 or 40? How much?
60.
Okay, by the way, okay, 60. By the way, why not 59 or why not 61?
I don't know. I just guessed it.
Okay, no, fine. Let me tell you, the decision is taken at the board meeting. The board of directors will sit together. They will have annual general meeting. In that annual general meeting, majority shareholders will decide how much dividend should be paid. Should company pay 10% and retain 90? Should company pay 90 and retain 10? Should company pay 0? Should company pay 100? Collectively, it will be decided by majority votes. So, in whichever favor majority votes, the decision will be taken. Either 100% will be paid, or a combination of anything between 0 or 100, decision will be taken. So whatever is retained, it remains as a liability of the company towards its shareholders. So is the part clear to you now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, good. Now, second
So
question. Anything you want to say, Adil?
yes, sir. I needed to add something in the trial balance of.
What is it?
So so in the trial balance, Construction Material Private Limited has been.
Just 1 second. Just 1 second. 1 second. Is mine around in the class?
Yes, sir.
Are you sending messages or you are attending class?
Sir, actually, okay, error from my side.
कोई बात
Just
नहीं.
got leave.
चलो कोई मसला नहीं.
So you are all now scared that you should not be given the responsibility of compiling all the names. But anyway, there has to be someone in the last. Okay. So what were you asking, Adil? Go ahead.
So in the first trial balance of Perfect Repairs Company, yes,
We have listed Construction Material Private Limited in our debits. Although when we go and look at the transaction, we say that they are creditors.
No, so I'm sorry, I missed you. Say it again.
Sir, in
In
the
the
entire
trial
list,
balance, they are
in the trial
listed as
balance.
debtors. Correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. What you are saying that we yesterday said they are creditors.
No, sir. When we go upper and see the
Okay.
transactions that actually
When we go
took
back to
place,
the transactions, what happened with them? We bought, we sold, and continued and all. So
so
they
we
are our
saw
creditors.
they are creditors. We took 1,26,000 worth of credit. I mean, a loan on them. We bought on credit
Okay.
1,26,000, and later we paid 26,000 to them.
So 1 lakh
So
is
in the
payable to
final,
them.
yes, 1 lakh is payable to them yet.
Okay. Okay.
And in the trial balance they have been listed in a debit record.
Okay. Write down this in the, send me a message in the group. Just remember it right now. Remember it. Send it in the group so that I keep a track, because I need to go through the entire records. Only then I'll be able to comment.
Okay, sir. Okay, sure.
But this being the case, if what you are saying is correct, it needs to be probed. It needs to be looked into seriously. Why is it happening? In any case, their balance, there would be some reason. I'll dig out the reason and will share with you. Anything other than this?
Sir, accumulated
Yes,
depreciation.
I remember that. I'll come back to that. Arma also asked what is accumulated depreciation. See, when you in one account, let us say company started in 1920. It is started in 2020 in any year, and it charged depreciation on the fixed assets. Next year again it charged depreciation. It continued charging depreciation. Let us say after 10 years, the asset on which it was charging depreciation is no more usable. What will the company do?
It needs to buy an asset. Where will funds come from if the provision was not made? So what company does? A company continues charging depreciation year after year and creates an account.
And which it calls as depreciation, the reserve account, or you may say as accumulated depreciation account. On one hand, it has cash or bank balance equivalent to the money it has saved to buy another machine. On the other hand, it has a liability. So accumulated depreciation is classified as a liability. The logic is that if you simply charge depreciation, money does not go out of the company, there is no outflow of funds. Unless you make a provision, unless you record for something, unless you actually create some funds from which at the end of useful life of machine you can buy machine, you can replace that machine, things will be difficult. So in financial planning, whatever assets company has, it estimates their useful lives. And if the company thinks that this particular asset will last us for 4 years, and at the end of fourth year, new machine that we wish to buy and replace the old one will need 1 lakh rupees. How much money should it save every year so that it accumulates 1 lakh rupees at the end of fourth year? So if yearly it can save that much, calculating interest part and etc. etc. So at the end of fourth year, it will have no problem of funds inflows. Is that clear?
No, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'll in that case, I'll come back once again on this one with further examples. Right now, whatever is the schedule for the day, we may
Continue with that. Now I'm posting a question, not a question, just an information only. For the time being, you attend to that, and after another 5-10 minutes, I'll post something else in the chat box. Now, 71 of you, 72 of you are there in the chat box, in the meet. Acha, while you attend to the classes, you can also see the number of people present in the meeting, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You can. So there are how many of you are there?
Sir, 73 in total.
So including me, 73.
Yes,
so there
sir.
are 72. So has everybody written his or her roll number?
71. I have actually joined from 2 devices.
Okay. So in all there are 71. It doesn't matter.
71, yes, sir.
Okay, everyone has has written her or his roll number. If everyone has written, I am posting a question.
Yes, sir.
Not question, just information. If you recall, I told you that weekly you just can tell me the classes you attended, and I'll record it accordingly. So I'm posting a question. Just answer to that question. Like this 2174, 2094, 1094, 1364, like this. I invite all of you to think some more ways and means through which we can record this attendance without spending more time. Like instead of daily, it has been, for example, reduced to weekly. I'll just look at this and will record it. Will add 3 or 4 or 2 or 1 to your previous ones which was displayed. So you may think of some other ways also through which it can be recorded and we can save some time. And that we can use, we can gainfully utilize for some discussion.
So what happens in my younger sibling's school is the teacher creates a Google form,
Okay.
and everyone who has attended the school simply goes and records it after attended the class, simply goes and records it after attending the class.
Okay.
It's a matter of minute at the most.
Okay, good. Then what happens thereafter? How is it compiled? Every day's attendance. How is it cumulatively performed? Classified or recorded?
सर ये तो मुझको नहीं मालूम है होंगी सी कि वो
नहीं,
क्या
Google
करते
form में हमने suppose we do it, then there will be what we are interested, rather I am interested in, at the end of day, maybe a day, week or all, whichever point in time, we just should know how many were attended by whom. That's it. 101. Let us say after, at the end of today is what, 16th day? Yes, today is day 16.
Day 16, yes, sir.
Day 16. As on day 16, 101 is equal to 15, 102, 10, 103, 0, 105, 12, 105, something like that. Anyway, think over it and see in what best way we can make use of time. So I was explaining to you closing entries. I also asked you to closing entries. I'll explain. I also asked you to classify all those 40 7 items. Somebody has corrected me. I wrote 42 and those were all 47 items. So I have asked you to count number of assets, number of liabilities, etc. All those 5 elements of equation in out of those 47. Have you all done that, or there are still
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Done.
everyone has done, or somebody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If I ask you, Kratika, how many assets are there?
Sir, I found 17.
17.
Yes, sir.
Is it correct?
Sir, I think it is correct. It may
Hold
vary.
on, hold on, Kratika. According to your counting, number of assets were 17. How
Yes,
about
sir.
Shamil? शमील,
Yes, sir.
हाँ, कितनी है तुम्हारे हिसाब से अटेंडेंस? सॉरी, अटेंडेंस कह रहा हूँ, एसेट्स.
Sir, I was not able to figure out the answer.
कोई बात, तो आप लोगों को क्लैरिफिकेशन सीख करना चाहिए था ना. नेक्स्ट टाइम इफ यू स्टक समवेयर एनीवेयर व्हाइल completing the assignment, you send me a text in the group and it will be attended to, if not by me, by someone else. See, you have 47 items. If you really sit down and start working with them, you go to number 1. It will be one of those 5. Number 2, number 3. Let us say you have all done. You have all, you are confident up to serial number 5. This is what? This is that. 6th, you are not able to realize what is it. Leave 6th, go on to 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, like this. So maybe you may have 3, 4, 5 inquiries. Correct?
Okay.
Like, if you are not, just post those heads in the group, asking people what these are. Either I will reply or your other friends may reply. If you agree with their reply, you just find, you can see clarification. But merely saying that you could not figure out, I'm not referring to you alone, I'm referring to all those who have not done, will not serve the purpose. Attempt it, and wherever you are stuck, ask the clarification.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Now,
Sir?
yes, sure.
Sir, there was no information regarding Automatic Electric Limited. Then what will it be, sir?
Yes, sir, exactly.
So in fact, you said when we
Yes, sir.
discussed the trial balance initially in the previous classes, you said that we should remind you have a point regarding the subject because somebody said that revenue should be recognized, although I maintain that it should not be recognized yet.
Yes, sir. Sir, same year said that Automatic Electric Limited has no transactions in cash, so अभी इसको हम लोग recognize नहीं कर सकते, तो ना ही वो assets में आ रहा है, ना ही किसी और account head में आ रहा है वो.
No, I'm not really clear about what is being discussed.
Sir, actually, there's
Just,
account.
do you want to know okay, what business is auto electric?
No, sir. No, sir.
Tell
So
me page
there's
number.
this.
Tell me page number.
Sir, it actually is 63.
Page number
63.
63.
Page number 63. It doesn't have any balance, so we were not able to figure out like whether we should put it in as a liability or
Okay, which one? Auto, it does not have any balance.
Sir,
So Automatic Electric
Automatic Electric Limited, there is no balance mentioned against it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you want to know where will it be put in?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
बहुत पहले की बात है कि एक साहब के घर में 3 स्विमिंग पूल थे. कितने थे? 3. एक में ठंडा पानी था, एक में गर्म था, एक में पानी नहीं था. तो लोगों ने मुझसे पूछा कि ठंडा पानी समझ में आता है कि सर्दी में नहाने के लिए, गर्मी में नहाने के लिए गर्म पानी समझ में आता है कि आप सर्दी में नहा लें, ये खाली क्यों है जिसमें पानी नहीं है? तो उनका जवाब ये था कि कभी कभी नहाने को दिल नहीं करता. तो इसका जवाब बिल्कुल इसी तरह है. अरे भाई, जब बैलेंस नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है आपके लिए, ना तो असेट है, ना लायबिलिटी है, ना कैपिटल है, ना एक्सपेंस है, ना रेवेन्यू. कहीं मत लिखिए इसको. ये बताइए आप किसको कैरी फॉरवर्ड करते हैं?
सर, एसेट, कैपिटल, लाइबिलिटी.
या आप एक वर्ड में कह सकते हैं कि बैलेंसेस को कैरी फॉरवर्ड करते हैं. बैलेंसेस को कैरी फॉरवर्ड करते हैं. क्या एक्सपेंस अकाउंट में बैलेंस होना चाहिए एट द एंड ऑफ ईयर? नहीं होना चाहिए.
No, sir.
इसलिए कि उसको तो हम क्लोज कर देंगे. क्लोज करके कहाँ ट्रांसफर कर देंगे? प्रॉफिट लॉस अकाउंट में. तो सारे एक्सपेंसेस का, सारे रेवेन्यू का टोटल मिलाकर के सिर्फ एक बैलेंस रह जाएगा, दैट विल आइदर बी प्रॉफिट और लॉस तो जिस अकाउंट के आगे बैलेंस ही नहीं है उसको कहीं भी नहीं लिखेंगे. If I ask you this question, no, it reminds me that, and I have noted it also. Just one second. I have noted it also. Just one second. Read what I am writing in the chat box. Recall, what I have written, I am reading it out. Recall kind of accounts like real, personal, nominal. That all we have discussed. Balances of which types of account or accounts are closed in the end of financial year. Write down its answers immediately. Again, same method. Your roll number and the answer correct. 107, 170 nominal, 132 nominal, 130, 161, like this. Okay. Balances of these accounts. Let me check what I wrote. Balances of these accounts will be closed in the end of financial. Good. Balances of these accounts will be closed. Balances of which type of accounts will be? Okay, assuming that everybody has written. If everyone has written, now answer this one. Balances of which type of accounts are or carried forward to the next financial year? Those who have written nominal, their answer is correct. If someone else has written anything else, then ask a clarification. I'll do that. Now, balances of which type of accounts are carried forward to the next financial year? Real and personal. Real and personal. Go ahead, continue. Okay. Once everybody has finished, it has a lesson for you. See, what are real accounts? You all know real accounts are things like building, machinery, furniture, etc. etc. What are personal accounts? Account of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. These are all personal accounts. So these are to be carried forward because we wish to know before we start another financial year how much did we owe him or how much he owed us. Similarly, the things that you have in the form of cash, bank, assets, laptop, all these things, you should know what is the opening balance so that additions to be made are added, deletions to be made or to be subtracted in the year, and then once again on 31st December we should know what are the balances. So it answers the question that which account balances are carried forward and which account balances are closed. And then I'll explain to you now, if there's no question here, how do we pass the closing entries? What entry do we make? Which account do we debit and which account do we credit? Shall I go on to that or you still have any question?
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, on page number 72, transaction called office supplies.
Let me go back. Yes, 72.
Transaction called office supplies. What
Okay.
it will be?
Okay, office supplies. Just one second. So these you can consider as just office equipment. What is this company called? Let me just check.
Sir, not office equipment. Office supplies.
Just I'm looking. These are your expenses. Expenses means like stationery and all. You classify them as an expense. Classify these as expenses. Any other question? Now how to pass the closing entries. So now you all have answered correctly that nominal accounts will be closed. The nominal account will have expenses and revenue. So start with revenue. Example of revenue is sales. So sales account will have always a credit balance. Now you want to close this account. So what should we do in order to close this account?
Sir, income tax paid is
Expense. Expense. Now you have sales account, which is a revenue account, which is a nominal account, and you need to close that account. The question I asked you is that revenue account or sales account will always show you a credit balance, and you want to close. So what should we do? Suppose the sales account is showing a credit balance of rupees 10,000. So in order to close this account, what shall we do? If we can
transfer to trading
profit
account.
and loss account.
hold on. Let us go do it systematically. How is it done systematically? That I am explaining to you. If an entry is made in the debit side of sales account, if an amount is recorded in the debit side of sales account to the extent of rupees 10,000, it will show no balance. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that means you debit sales account. When you debit sales account, you will post it in the debit side of ledger and the balance will be 0. Okay, we debited sales account. So equal credit is to be posted. What will you credit?
Trading account.
You will credit profit and loss, either profit loss account or a trading account. Any one of the two accounts will be credited. So you credit profit and loss account and debit sales account. And when this entry is posted in the ledger, sales account will have 0 balance. But there will be a balance in profit and loss account because profit loss account has been credited. You will record in the credit side of profit and loss account a sales. Just recall how a journal entry is transferred to the ledger. So when you make an entry, you can write down this entry. You can just note down this entry in your notebook. Sales account debit to profit and loss account. After I tell you about 2 or 3 entries, then I'll seek your this one, the last question, or maybe clarify your doubts. So sales account we have done like this. Similarly, all the revenue accounts can be closed like this, simply by debiting them and crediting profit and loss account. If you do so, all revenue account will have 0 balance. Then you come to expenses account like wages account, salary account, rent account. Suppose the rent account has a debit balance. It will always have a salaries account, let us say it will always have a debit balance, and salary account debit balance was, let's say, 20,000 rupees. So you want to close this account. What do you do?
Credit salary.
Add a credit balance to
Because see, salaries account has a debit balance. To close it, you will credit salaries. So what will you debit?
PL account.
Profit and loss. So you make an entry profit loss account debit to salaries account. In the process, salary account will have 0 balance. So if you continue doing all like this, every nominal account, every expense you credit and debit profit loss, every revenue you debit and credit profit and loss. So what will happen? All the accounts like this, all expenses account will have 0 balance, all revenue account will have 0 balance. But you will have one more account, you have created one more account in the journal entry known as profit and loss account. Several times it must be appearing in debit side and several times it must be appearing in credit side. Now listen to, if this thing is clear up to this stage, I'll ask a question. What I have said, all expenses account will be credited. What will happen? There will be 0 balance. But what you will debit? Profit and loss account. All revenue account will be debited. Therefore, there will be 0 balance in those accounts, but profit loss account will be credited. If up to this stage the discussion is clear, I will proceed. Is this clear or not?
Yes, sir. It's
Yes,
clear.
sir.
If it is clear, do you think there will be profit loss account at several places? Let us say like this, you passed 100 entries. You passed 100 entries. Sometimes debiting profit loss account, sometimes crediting profit loss account,
and accordingly debiting or crediting revenue and expenses.
Out of these 100 entries, in several places profit loss account will be debit, in several places profit loss account will be credit. Now tell me, in how many cases approximately profit loss account will be in the credit, and how many places approximately profit loss account will be in debit? Which will be more in debit or more in credit? Is my question clear? Or I
Sir,
repeat?
could you please repeat a little bit?
I'll repeat. While passing closing entries, you have several times credited profit loss account and you have several times debited profit and loss account.
Is this clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. If this is clear, suppose all these entries put together are 100. Total of debit of profit loss and total of credit and profit loss is equal to, let us say, total number of entries you have passed are 100. Question is, there will be more credit in the profit loss or there will be more debit in the profit and loss?
So it depends on the
It will
transactions.
depend on whether the company has incurred losses or made
Let
profit.
us say in 99.999, add any number of nines. After 99 and point, add any number of 99,999. What is the possibility?
So profit credit will be more.
Credit will be
सर प्रॉफिट किया होगा कंपनी ने, so that means
I am not asking profit.
debit will be more.
I am asking number of debits. I am not asking amounts.
Sir, same.
No.
there will be maximum more and more, maybe 90 is to 10. 90 will be debit and 10 will be credit, or 85 will be debit and 15 will be credit. How many you have revenue account? How many heads are there in the revenue account? Maximum 5, 6, isn't it? Sales is credit. If you have received more interest, then interest is credit. If you have received more commission, then commission credit. Otherwise, not many accounts. But in debit, you have so many, like salaries, like wages, like rent, like advertisement expenses, like income tax, like commission, like isn't it? So there will be more in the debit side and less in the credit side. When you said amount a company will make profit, your answer was correct. If you look at the figures of credit side, the chances are that figures of credit side could be totaling to 1 lakh and figures of debit side could be totaling to 80,000, 85,000, 65,000. Because the chances are most of the companies make a profit. So when it comes to numbers, there will be more numbers of debit in the profit loss account and less number of credits. When it comes to amount, there will be more amount. The chances are that there will be more amount of credit in the profit loss account and less amount of debit. When you do so, all debit have been posted, all credit have been posted, then you balance that account and your balancing figure will either be profit or loss. Suppose your balancing figure is profit. Which side will it appear? Debit or credit?
So debit side.
Debit side, because the credit was more. You are right. And similarly, if there are losses, which side will they appear?
So
So credit.
Credit side, because your debit was more.
more.
If debit is more,
That means losses. If credit is more, that is profit. Okay. Now, all the accounts have been closed, all nominal accounts have been closed,
and you are left with only one figure. And what is that one figure? Either profit or loss.
Loss, sir.
Correct? Now this profit or loss will be transferred to balance sheet, where you have assets and liabilities. I am talking about a company. What I am talking about a company. In case of a company, the profit, which side should it be recorded?
So added to the capital.
It will be
Added to the capital.
once again let me repeat, I am talking about a company, not individual or sole trader. And what is the kind of capital company has? It is in the form of shares,
Equity.
isn't it? Equity shares. So can the profit be added to equity shares?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So it is recorded in the balance sheet in credit side as a profit of the year. What do we do with that profit? I'll come to that later. And suppose there was a loss, what do we do? In company there was loss, what do we do?
So loss for the year should be recorded.
Loss for the year. Which side?
In debit side.
But in the company.
Debit side. So on the asset side.
In the asset, in the company, there are no debit credit side. So loss will be recorded is
So on the asset side.
on the asset side. Okay. Okay. I'm making some notes for the question. Okay. It will be recorded in the debit side. What do you call that asset? What do you call that asset? We have various types of assets, like fixed assets. The example is building, etc.
So fictitious assets.
Just 1 second. एक मैसेज और कर दूंगा, ठीक है, अभी क्लास में चला. Yeah, so you have fixed assets, you have current assets like cash, bank. So what is this asset called? Fictitious asset. What is the name of this asset?
Fictitious.
Fictitious. Fictitious. Fictitious asset. Okay, so we have now asset side and liability side of balance sheet. So all the remaining accounts, that is assets account and liabilities account, will be transferred to balance sheet. So in this way, all ACEL, all have been taken care of. Out of the 47 items that you have in 3 trial balance, let us assume that is only 1 trial balance having 47 items. Some you will transfer to revenue account, some you will transfer to expenses account in profit and loss account by closing them. Ultimately, you will be left with one figure, either profit or loss, that you will carry it forward to the asset or liability side, one of the two. Then you will be left with assets and capital, assets and liabilities that you will record on the balance sheet, and both sides should be equal. If this is clear, you seek clarification if there is anything which still is missing.
So can you explain it just once again?
Okay, the steps are, if you wish, you can write down, or maybe I can post it in the trial balance. You have got, let me go back to the slide. Perhaps I think I have this slide in the system. I'll explain. Okay, here it is. So do you see the slide now?
Yes, sir.
Slide, you are looking at the slide of day 15.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Look at the preparation of profit loss account from balance sheet. Classify all the heads of account as asset capital. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, leave second part. Go to the third one. Record all arrangement of expenses and revenue in profit loss account. So, in step number 1, there are 5 elements mentioned. Of those 5, you have classified E and R and transferred them to profit and loss account. Once you do so, how many will be left in your equation in trial balance?
So 3.
3. Asset, capital and
Liability.
Correct. Difference between R and E will be written either on the capital side or on the asset side, depending it's being positive or negative. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Then when you total assets and liabilities, it should be equal.
Okay, sir.
Okay, the test lies in understanding what one account is. Is it a capital? Is it a liability? Is it an expense? Or is it a revenue? Is it clear now?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Suppose you wrongly classify an item in the trial balance. Suppose you wrongly classify an item of the trial balance. Will it affect your balance sheet or not? Is question clear?
Yes, sir, it will affect our balance sheet.
It will affect. Okay. I mean, still, I don't say that yours is correct or incorrect answer. I'll repeat the question. There are 47 items which you have classified this. Some as asset, some as liability, etc. etc. By mistake, items were 2, 3, 4, not, let us say just one, was wrongly classified. You are saying that your balance sheet will not match. Any other comment? By the way, is question clear to all of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now come up with the answer.
Sir, we think the same.
So
If classification is different.
No, no. If classification is wrong, balance sheet will not match. This is what your conclusion is. Now let me ask a question.
So if compensating error will be there, then the balance sheet will match.
Good. Assume that there is no compensating error. Only one mistake you have committed. Compensating error comes into being when there are two errors, one compensating the other. I am making another statement that you have made only one mistake. Out of 47, only one was classified wrong. Now, if you all are drawing a conclusion that it will affect your balance sheet, let me ask another question which will help you arriving at the correct answer. The next question that I am asking now is the salaries. You classified salaries. What you should classify as salaries?
Says an expense.
Expense.
And you should write it in
P&L account.
which side?
Debit side.
Debit side.
Debit side.
By mistake, you classified salaries as asset. By mistake, you classified salaries an asset and you wrote somewhere in the balance sheet in asset side. Will it disturb your both side of balance sheet?
No, sir. It will match.
It will match. That means you made a mistake and balance sheet is still matching. Do you agree or you don't? Tell me, have you understood or not?
Sir, lost हो गए थोड़ा सा.
कोई बात नहीं. I'll come up again. No issue, no issue. Prior to this, I asked a question that out of those 47 heads of account, you make one mistake in the classification of one of those accounts. My question was, will the balance sheet match or not? So you all said the balance sheet will be disturbed. Balance sheet will not match. Asset side will not be equal to capital plus liabilities. Then I asked another question. I gave you an example. The example I gave you was that suppose salaries paid were wrongly classified as asset. You should have treated salaries as an expenses, but you treated salaries as asset. Then you said the balance sheet will be the same. Both sides will be equal. It will not disturb the balance sheet, although we have made an error. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that means you agree. In case we go for wrong classification, not deliberately, unknowingly, we make a wrong classification, such as salaries treated as an asset, our balance sheet will still match. All right?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Suppose I ask you another example. Debtors wrongly classified as creditors. Debtors wrongly classified as creditors.
So it will not match.
It will not. Okay, very good. It will not match because
creditors
So
will be our liability.
balance on debit side and credit side will not match actually.
okay. So your balance sheet will not match if you classify debtors as creditors. Okay?
Yes, sir.
You all agree? Of 70 of you present, you all agree. Okay? Shall I go ahead?
Yes, sir. We all agree.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, here if some of you who are not present feel that they can get away with a good grade in fact doesn't bother here, or understanding of the subject is more by merely looking at the books, is not correct. Books will not ask you such questions, such probing questions and answers. It is only through discussion that can take place. I'll continue with what I said. If you wrongly classify debtors as creditor, you all have maintained that your balance sheet will not match, and I also agree. But I am adding one more sentence to this, and the sentence is that the balance sheet will match even if debtors and debtors are wrongly classified as creditors under one condition. Under one condition. What can be that condition?
Sir, if the
Some
amount paid
amount.
is equal
Yes,
is equal to
very
the
true.
amount.
Very true. If amount of debtors and credit is equal, balance sheet will match.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, based on this, think of several ways and means wherein balance sheet will match and balance sheet will not match, even if we are making some mistakes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Quotations and accommodations, wherein we make error, but don't do like this. Salaries treated as asset, wages treated as assets, rent treated as asset. You are treating, you are simply changing the names. Now, let me check what you have done. I'm just typing out one last question. Okay, just hold on. Wait a minute. You all were asked to count number of assets and liabilities. So write down your roll number followed by A is equal to 10, for example, B, A is equal to 10, C is equal to, let us say, 5, L is equal to, for example, 20, something like that, and so on. Let me complete the question. In case you have not been able to do, if you did not count, maybe you were busy or something, just write I did not. In case you did not count, write I did not. Answer this.
Like 132 has written correctly A10. I'm not saying correct answer. I'm writing A10, C3, L6. Okay, I was not able. Good, no issue. Like Shariq is writing, I did not find. Kushagra has written like this. Arma is writing.
There should be 71. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. 70 notings here. 70 because I'm one of the participants. In all, there are
71.
So I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So you said that profit will be recorded on the credit side of balance sheet, but under which head?
Sorry, not credit side of the balance sheet. In the balance sheet, we don't have debit and credit side. Profit, if there is a profit, it will be recorded in the liabilities side. We have two sides of balance sheet, asset side and liability side. So it will be recorded in the liability side.
But under which head?
Okay, under which head? There will be a head known as reserves and surplus. So from the previous years after years, we have created some reserves, that is accumulated profit. It will be added to those reserves. Or we can simply write as another head, profit and loss account.
Okay, sir. And so why is loss
It will
classified
be
under
recorded in the asset side under the heading of fictitious assets. Yeah,
But
we
so
will
why
write this. Just 1 second. We will write debit balance of profit and loss account. Your next question is why? Fine. Okay. When we are, it's a good question. When we are maintaining the accounts of individual sole proprietor. So we add to the capital or we subtract from capital. But in case of company, we are not dealing with individuals. We are dealing collectively with a company. So if there is a loss, it is not possible to deduct 1 rupee or 2 rupee proportionately from their equity share capital, from their capital, from the shares that the shareholders are holding. So collectively, it is shown on the asset side as a loss, and it automatically reduces their value of their shares. Say you are holding a share of rupees 10. What will be the market value of this share? Usually more than 10. होती है ना, more than 10. क्यों होती है ऐसा? Because on your balance sheet there are several figures showing the profitability. अगर बैलेंस शीट में ये चीजें लायबिल असेट साइड में दिखा दी जाए लॉसेस, तो शेयर की वैल्यू 10 रुपए से कम होगी, ज्यादा हो जाएगी?
Sorry, sir, can you repeat?
Sure. Company has been profitable year after year. It is showing credit balance in the profit loss account and showing it in the liability side. So share price will automatically increase. In case companies regularly show losses on the debit side, on the asset side, what will happen to the share value? Increase or decrease?
So decrease.
Decrease. That means market automatically increases capital or market automatically decreases
capital
in the form of value of your share. Is that right?
Yes, sir, it is understood.
Yes, sir.
Now another question to think. This I asked before also, maybe 10 days before. Company is regularly showing losses. Company is regularly showing losses, but still its market share price is increasing. Why is it so? Year after year, 2-3 years, regular losses, but share price are ever increasing. All right. Has everybody mentioned the number of asset, capital, liabilities?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Everybody has written. Now, I have already posted the assignment created the assignment on Google Classroom concerning the
So
findomega.com that you complete, and based on the questions that I have asked now, once again I'll be posting a few assignments on the Google Classroom that you should complete in within the possible time frame. If you have any question, you can ask. Any question? If not, you can leave the meeting.
Sir, extra classes कब होंगी?
Thank you, sir.
I didn't hear you.
Thank you, sir.
investment, but capital is continuously getting increased.
And somebody, you want to know something?
So I may asking question.
क्या सवाल है बताइए?
So you were just asked about like is facing losses and also the market is very high.
Can anybody tell me what somebody has asked? या ज्यादा माइक क्या हो रहा है?
The echo is too much.
Sir, her voice is echoing.
No, it is okay. What was the question somebody asked?
Sir, you just question na ki if a company is facing losses and then also like its share market is getting high, is it because there is a continuous investment in the company? That may is that
company में people show the promise, people see the promise whether the model is such which will certainly click in future. ये बहुत ही rarely कुछ कंपनी के साथ हुआ है पास्ट में. Amazon is one of them, isn't it? इसी सूरत से कुछ ऐसा भी हुआ है बहुत सी कंपनीज के बारे में जिनमें प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी हुई है बट स्टिल देयर वर लॉसेस, लाइक हिज मास्टर्स वॉइस. बहुत सी कुछ ऐसी नॉट बहुत सी, आई सेड इट रॉन्ग, लिमिटेड कुछ ऐसा हुआ. 8-52 हो गए, आप लोग दूसरी क्लास ज्वाइन कीजिए.
सर जिन्होंने लेट ज्वाइन किया उनके लिए एक्स्ट्रा क्लासेस कब होंगी?
जिन्होंने देखिए सुनिए एक सेकंड, जिन लोगों ने डिपार्टमेंट की वजह से लेट ज्वाइन किया है बिकॉज उनकी उसमें कोई पता नहीं है, आई शुड गेस अ